Hey there, Detroit sports fanatics. Great for me to be back on Spreaker. Welcome to episode 167 of the Detroit Sports Truth. Let me go ahead and kick things off with 5 questions to the fans.
It's time for 5 questions with Taylor the Gator Phillips.
Question number 1. Does Brad Ausmus have the courage and the brains to take control of the team and make better decisions after 2 years of misery? Question number 2. Should offensive coordinator Joe Lombardi and general manager Martin Mayhew both be fired soon? Or should either one be fired? If either, which one? Explain and support your answer thoroughly. Question number 3. Do the Red Wings players need to be more careful on the ice? Question number 4. Should the Wings add younger players such as Dylan Larkin, Anthony Mantha, Andreas Athanasiou, and Tyler Bertuzzi? And finally, question number 5. Is Michigan better than Michigan State right now? Call in with your answers at 231-429-3668. That is 231-429-3668. Let me start off with Brad Ausmus here. Last Saturday, Al Avila announced their general manager. Last Saturday, their general manager Al Avila decided that Brad Ausmus will stay with the Detroit Tigers as their manager for the 2016 season.
That one is long gone.
Now, earlier, former Minnesota Twins manager Ron Gardenhire was reportedly going to be the next Tigers manager, according to Mike Ilitch. As I heard from a source from Justin Spiro of the Detroit Sports Rag, the number 2 in-command editor. But then recently, the past Saturday, Al Avila decided to stick with Brad Ausmus because he saw a little something in Brad's head that Al Avila couldn't ignore, and that's doing statistical math. See, that was a disconnection between Al Avila and the Ilitches on whether they should keep or fire Ausmus. Mike Ilitch wanted Brad gone and to have Avila hire Gardenhire on September 10th, and it sucked Avila right in. But then the past Saturday, Avila went back to his analytical mind and decided to try Ausmus for another year. Now let's face it, Ausmus does have the mind and statistics and all, unlike Gardenhire, but last year and this year, Ausmus almost never made the right in-game decisions, and he never took control of the team. Al Avila has to reprimand Ausmus this offseason and tell him to take much more control of the team and make much better decisions. Otherwise, Ausmus will be fired sometime around the end of next year. At about this point, I think if I were Al Avila, I still would have gone with Manny Acta. Because he knows a lot more sabermetrics and statistical analytics than both Ausmus and Gardenhire combined. And I think you should Google the article, "The Tigers Should Hire Manny Acta," from Bless You Boys, written by Hook Slide of Bless You Boys. Tigers have a 73-85 record after losing 2 of 3 from the Texas Rangers at Globe Life Park in Arlington this week, Monday through Wednesday. So let's move on to the Lions.
Touchdown, Detroit Lions!
First, I heard from FanSided that Lions offensive coordinator Joe Lombardi's time may be up because of his horrible play calling in weeks 1 and 2 and 3. Now I'm hearing from my co-host Ed Smith about a column article written by Lions beat writer Justin Rogers of MLive that general manager Martin Mayhew should be on the hot seat as well. It's headlining, "Clock should be ticking on Martin Mayhew's Lions tenure." Rogers states that, quote, "Mayhew's misses in the draft have been the area that has held the franchise back," unquote. Mayhew drafted running back Javid Best and wide receiver Tyus Young, for example, and they both proved to be a disaster to the team, except Best had the legs and the moves and the feet of being a legitimately awesome running back, in my opinion. Best was very injury prone, however, while Young kept getting into legal trouble from 2012 on. Mayhew drafted a total of 29 players from 2009 to 2012, and only 6 of those players have remained with the Lions as of right now. Also, yet, the Lions have never won double-digit games in back-to-back seasons when they expected to this year and in 2012 after they made the playoffs in 2011 and 2014, which is last year. Their current 0-3 record will spell the end of their season early because their season just doesn't get any easier. They go into Seattle and then they're home against the NFC West leading Arizona Cardinals, who are undefeated and are smelling blood all over and are smelling blood already. They only have a few, like at least a couple easy games, 2 against the Chicago Bears. The Packers and Vikings are a challenge. The Packers have always been a challenge to the Lions, especially with Aaron Rodgers as quarterback. The Vikings got Adrian Peterson back, so they're a much bigger challenge than they were without him last year. The Lions' current 0-3 record will spell the very end of their season. I said that already. The Lions don't have very many easy games. They are being put to the test all this season in general, and so far they have never won one game. They are 0-3. Their offense is terrible, especially from their offensive line, making quarterback Matthew Stafford look terrible out there under center on the field. Only some of it is his fault, not all of it. You got to blame most of it on the offensive line and on Joe Lombardi combined. It's time for another major change. I think both Mayhew and Lombardi should both be fired. To answer question number 1 about Brad Ausmus, Ausmus gained a little bit control when he waved his hand in a manner that wanted to forget or ignore or make it stop. Like, enough is enough. When Justin Verlander went out there went out of the dugout after he was being pulled after he threw 8 2/3 innings when the Tigers were leading 3-1 with 2 outs and a man on first after Verlander gave up a single against the Kansas City Royals at Comerica Park like a weekend or two ago. That was a sign that Ausmus started to take a little bit of control of the team, but it's still not much. And I still think Brad Ausmus is still making very bad decisions, and I just don't think Brad Ausmus has the brains to make better decisions, nor does he have much courage to take enough control of the team. I don't think Al Avila made the right decision to stick with Ausmus for a third and final year of his contract. I thought it would be much better for Al Avila to choose Manny Acta. Not Ausmus, not Gartenhire, Manny Acta. Manny Acta not only knows a lot of sabermetrics, not only believes in that stuff, but he knows how to make the right decisions. As I recommend once again, read the article from Bless You Boys headlining "The Tigers Should Hire Manny Acta," written by Hookslide. Now to the Red Wings. The Wings suffered 2 key injuries over this 2015 NHL preseason. Center Darren Helm suffered a slightly separated shoulder, and then the past Wednesday in Pittsburgh, defenseman Danny DeKeyser suffered a lower leg injury, which is unknown at this time in terms of its duration. Hopefully that's not too serious, but DeKeyser was wearing an immobilizing boot on his left foot and walking on crutches, meaning he might have a broken or fractured leg or broken or fractured foot, which is serious. He might be out very long, like 6 to 8 weeks or something like that, or 4 months. That can't be good at all. It's very bad. I'm going to make it really simple to the players once again. Be more careful on the ice. It's like distracted driving or just not being aware of what's going on as you move. I pointed that out last year on Blog Talk Radio. You gotta watch where you're going and watch where other players are going. Whether they're your teammates or whether they're opposing players or officials or linesmen, whoever the heck is on the ice. Watch yourself and watch for others 100% of the time as you play the game of hockey. It's a very hard and physical sport, and the ice is always slippery, as everybody would speak. And it's a very hard game to play. But that's why you got to keep your eyes open all the time. You can't just doze off. You have to be aware of everything, not just the puck. Other injuries right now. Left winger Timu Polkinen is day-to-day with an upper body injury. Center Pavel Datsyuk is out until the end of October this month after ankle surgery. And defenseman Kyle Quincy is also day-to-day with a lower body injury and could miss both preseason games against Mike Babcock and the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now let's talk a little college football, starting with the Michigan State Spartans.
Touchdown, MSU!
They stay ranked second in the country even after surviving a scare from the Central Michigan Chippewas.
Touchdown, Central Michigan!
And winning 31-10.
Touchdown, MSU!
They got themselves into some penalty trouble in the third quarter, but then they calmed down in the fourth quarter and rolled on with 2 touchdowns from running back Gerald Holmes. Both teams, especially Central Michigan, gave it a battle in the first half, making it 17-7 at halftime and then 17-10 in the third quarter. But the Spartans special teams unit, especially the punting department, has improved vastly after being shaky in the first 2 games against the Western Michigan Broncos and 7th-ranked Oregon Ducks in Week 2. MSU takes on another challenge on homecoming in East Lansing when the out-of-top 25-ranked Purdue Boilermakers come charging into Spartan Stadium in East Lansing. I still think the Spartans will win that game, but the Boilers apparently won't go away quietly. Of course, the Spartan Stadium faithful is going to be loud, over 75,000 fans over there. The Spartans, of course, are still hungry for a national title. They got to watch out for their other in-state arch rival, the Michigan Wolverines, whom I'm about to get to right now.
Touchdown, Michigan!
After taking a very rough loss at Utah, U of M started coming together and rolling with wins over the Oregon State Beavers and the UNLV Nevada Las Vegas Rebels at the Big House. Then the past Saturday, they steamrolled number 22 BYU 31-0 in Ann Arbor in Week 4, moving them up to the top 25. They are in Maryland playing the Terrapins this upcoming Saturday at noon. And the Wolverines are ranked 22nd in the country. Like I just said, they're in Maryland playing the Terrapins this upcoming Saturday at noon, depending on the status of Hurricane Joaquin, which may emerge after the scheduled game at noon. That game can be televised on BTN. The question is, can the Maize and Blue keep on rolling like they did at home and finally get a win on the road? It shouldn't be that hard. They were only getting warmed up in Week 1 against the Utes. It's still a wait-and-see approach as to how they perform come Saturday, but I think I have Michigan winning that one. Well, that wraps up episode 167 of the Detroit Sports Truth. I'm Taylor Phillips. If there's anything you fans want more or less of on my podcast, please let me know. TTFN, ta-ta for now.